Okay. All right. How's that shot look? I think it looks good enough. I'm not gonna have any idea here. Wait, actually, I can see myself. Okay. This is gonna work. Kind of a jank setup. All right. Anyway, make sure I'm like makes sense. All right. Hi, I'm Dusty, and welcome back to my lab. This is going to be my first live lab, so what my plan is I'm going to change the roller wheels here on this 3D printer, and depending on how that goes, how long it takes, I'm going to possibly show you some more of these knickknacks that I have here, and maybe talk about them a little bit. But anyway, most of this is probably just going to be a pretty terrible shot of me, like from behind. I'll try to like talk about what I'm doing and show you like what exactly I'm going to do when I take them off. One thing I do have to do is modify this printer. If I want to, at least if I want to do it the way that I'm imagining, these panels kind of obstruct your ability to take these bolts out, which you need to, which are what hold the wheels in place and tighten them. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole here. So I think that this is a good enough size bit. Maybe Bean will help. He's circling as usual here. So yep, here he is. All right. So first things first, let's just do the easy one that's on top here. I've done a new number of modifications and upgrades, if you can call them that, to this printer. That's actually the right one. It's not really the right bit, but oh well. I'm going to use it anyway. I already have the right socket, so this will be a lot easier if you have a socket. Never done this before, so I'm making it up as I go. So, including the bolt, it looks like it's 5 pieces. So, now this safety nut, which has some Loctite on it, and this washer go on the other side of the actual metal extrusion. So, all right, B. You just got to be the center of attention, don't you? Okay, so now here's the plan. Let's see if these are actually look pretty worn. I don't know. This one doesn't look terribly bad, although I don't really know exactly what I'm looking for. So what I'm imagining is that and I think I can see it on some of the wheels that were really tight. Oop. So in theory, the you would start to get like basically a concavity like to the chamfer or whatever it is on either side of the wheel, and you can actually see like dust builds up, like dust will build up when this wears out. Oop, don't lose that. Okay. So just like this, and we're gonna take this wheel and we're gonna change it anyway, even though it doesn't really look that worn out. I got a whole pack here. Feel free to ask any questions as I go here. This isn't exactly urgent. I'm going to change these, and they have about the same. They honestly seem like they have quite a bit of resistance. Oh well. Bean doesn't care. Okay. So just like that. Might be a really short video, unless this is gonna be. Okay, I think it's right. I don't know what I did differently there, but okay. Now I'm not gonna go crazy tight on this yet. I'm gonna make them all loose, and then we can go a little crazy. I don't know. I mean, to be honest with you, kind of like guessing and like just. I mean, some of these wheels like spin significantly more freely than others, and I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing, but it just is what it is, and that's how it's been since I got it. And it was actually pretty much configured and built, other than the side panels when I got it. I didn't know anything about 3D printing when I got this thing, so anyway, okay, let's just continue here, and then I guess I'll do all the top ones, all the easy ones, and then we'll go nuts and maybe drill a hole in it. I don't know. All right. I mean, the simple solution, and what I guess I intend you to do when you do this, without drilling a hole in your machine, is to just take the side panel off, which isn't too much work, but I don't know. I kind of like the idea of having a hole in it, and then I'll just plug it with a silicone stopper or something. We got the nut too. Good. Stepping on stuff here. I've had this machine for about 2 years now. Generally like everything about it. It was a little bit of an ordeal when I upgraded the hot end to, where did I put it? Are you on it, Bean? Pretty good chance. Oh, no, here it is right in front of my face. When I upgraded to the V6, I believe is what it is. So even this is getting kind of antiquated now. There's way fancier stuff now. I really want to get the Bambu Lab X1C, because that thing, I mean, since I do a lot of custom stuff, and you can do multi-filament work on that, and the speeds are pretty significantly better than this, actually, than I've been able to push it. That would be a really nice upgrade. And so one thing I think I'm going to do as a test print, one thing I'm going to do as a test print is this ornament that I designed. But I think before that, I want to, just because it's so fast, I'm going to print one of these rings. I'm actually wearing one right now. And maybe I'll build that. I don't know. I also, if anyone is interested in this, I actually printed this on this machine, which you're normally not supposed to be able to do. Because this is like a pretty long Bowden machine, actually. But I was still able to print flexible TPU on it. And, you know, I say I was able to. Wasn't really able to, because this is actually an example of a failed print. I think that what was happening was that during the transition between the support and the actual print, it was just clogging the end. And then, like, if there's literally any pressure in there, then it seems like it won't work. So, and I was doing it with the Volcano block too. I haven't. It's mostly been laziness, because I think that with certain situations, and especially slower speeds, you'd get better results if you didn't use a Volcano block. But I've been getting pretty good results when other things are all considered equal. All right, let's not get too distracted here. Keep me on track, Bean. wait a sec. I think I understand. Not sure how I got the other one to work. Yeah. When the other one slipped into place, it just kind of did it. Why is this one not doing it? Oh, there it goes. Okay, don't know why. Just gotta play with it. Don't eat the Loctite. It's got like all kinds of warnings on it. Yeah, don't eat it. Pro tip, don't eat the Loctite. This is not the right driver for this, but whatever. Ooh, wow, these are for speed. Alright, next. So I've only got 2 done now on the top. They feel pretty nice. I mean, I also designed this dual shroud with these 5015 blower fans, and I don't know, it's okay. I think that it needs to be tuned a little bit. It points like too much laterally, so like I think I need to aim it a little bit like more at the nozzle, which makes it even a little trickier because then there's, this is actually a long nozzle, which I've been experimenting with because I think that the longer nozzle might be better in certain regards, because it seems like when I use like a flatter, let's put it close here. When I use a flat head, it like grabs the last layer in certain regards and like makes the warping way worse, and like then it like accumulates, and I mean, it's like this thing still will do that depending on the circumstance. So I don't know. I mean, I think that I do generally like a more conical tip for this, but then that does change your bed leveling, and then again, like I'm saying, the like the angling of your ducts for your shroud. I replaced the like these Creality machines. I mean, it's great for the money. It's been incredibly capable. But the stock fan on this thing for the actual hot end is just not. It's like soup. I mean, one broke on me, and then they're just naturally really loud, like straight out of the box. And so this thing is super quiet, especially like especially if these aren't running at all. I actually get problems, especially with the Volcano end, that if I try to run these part fans 100%, like, and this might be part of the aiming that's off, it'll cool the end too fast and it'll shut down. So yeah, I mean, I only really, it's kind of ridiculous how much power it has. I mean, if you just put it at 50%, it's like it seems like it, like anytime that I've thought that it was that I didn't have sufficient cooling with this thing, it was pretty much another problem. So one thing that was interesting, that might save you, if you have like a stock Creality machine and you want to print PETG, you might find that and like some things will say online that you don't need to use a part cooling fan at all, and like you'll find that if you upgrade to something like this where the extruder fan is far away from the nozzle tip, you'll actually get crappy PETG prints, and it'll warp really bad, and you're like, well, what's going on? I'm using the exact same settings, and I was told to not use a part cooling fan. You need to use a little bit. So just keep that in mind. Like when what I realized it was that the part cooling that I was getting originally was from the actual extruder fan, because it was leaking and actually giving that little bit of cooling that I needed, because the nozzle was literally closer to it. And so that was what that screwed me up for a long time, and I thought that I was doing something else wrong with like the upgrade of the extruder, and that wasn't what it was. It was just that just you need some kind of part cooling when you're doing PETG. Not very complicated, although I have yet to actually figure out how I'm managing to get the wheel in the slot the right way. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll see by the end of this I'll understand what's happening. That just went in that time. I don't know. Feel free to ask me any questions. I'm looking at the YouTube chat right now, so. And I'm sorry that the production quality on this is such crap, and that like when I'm trying to show you something, it's like a blind man like. But I haven't really gotten the technical stuff down. I have enough cameras, but I'm trying to start small. I'm just gonna do this, see how this goes, and like if I need to show you something that I can't like get close to the camera, I'm just gonna pull it off the stand, and I figure that'll, you know, at least I can do whatever, but even if it's kind of mediocre. This one seems pretty loose. Wonder how that happened. So, a nice upgrade for this, beyond like just doing new wheels, would be linear rails, which I might eventually do. I think this machine would be a good candidate for it. But I want the Bamboo Lab. I like that. You know, that's kind of head and shoulders capability above this, and pretty much a lot of things on the market, from what I understand. Doing the multi-filament stuff is like wasteful on it apparently, because it, like, the way it does is it uses the same extruder and just cleans the nozzle each time, but like it poops out like a ton of like excess waste filament because of that. And so ideally you would have a dual extruder setup, and I don't know, I mean, maybe you could upgrade that with it. I don't know if they have plans for that. Doesn't seem like that's really their thing with like, it's kind of like a buy it and just print type machine, whereas like these things are like half of printing is like just getting the machine to work. It's like, yeah, it's a whole thing. Things that have gone wrong or that I've had to do on this, I've really only had to truly tighten the belts once, and that helped with a lot of play. What else? I had to tighten the wheels recently too, and then when I tightened them, I realized, yeah, let's see if I upgrade them, really just replace them with the exact same type, if they'll be any better. Because I do think that if I'm looking at these wheels, and I mean also just the amount of dust that collects, I've read online that like you see this dust that shows up on the tracks, and it's like, what is that? And what it is it's actually the wheels breaking down and becoming particles. So sure that sure that's great to breathe too, but it is what it is. Yeah, these ones are just going right in the slot. I don't understand it. I'm stumped. Now that I'm thinking about it, the way that this machine especially is built, I bet you what I want to do once I get them all on there, well, these one all meaning the 8, 4 here and 4 here, I want to loosen them a bit and then slowly tighten them one, like basically a star pattern, because what's happening is as you're tightening it, you're pulling it one way or the other, and so like you want to kind of you want to have even pressure like as you're tightening it, so you don't want it to be pulled to one side and then yeah, I think that's what's happening here. So this is all just basic, I think aluminum extrusion. How do I not know this yet? I'm sure I do know it. Yeah, it's aluminum. Yeah. It's pretty rigid. So supposedly, like, the thing that'll make your printer print faster is if its hardware is very rigid and just properly tuned, and that it doesn't have resonance. And resonance is actually why this thing is on here. Although I haven't actually configured it yet, which what it is it's an accelerometer. And there's a thing called input shaping. Why it's called that, I have no idea. But basically, it just like it'll run and the Bambu Lab X1C actually has this feature, and somehow it basically shakes the head and can tell at what speeds it's going to become resonant and then create ringing. It's called, where you get like weird patterns in your print that you can see that like kind of like fade out like at different junction points and just like accentuate junctions, and it just doesn't look good. So I do want to do that with this, just haven't gotten there yet. And the other thing about it is that I don't really know how fast I'll even realistically be able to push this machine. And then like it does, and at lower speeds it already does do a pretty good job. So I think that it's done its job and it continues to. I want to, and I should have done a direct drive mod on this instead of a Bowden. This is actually an upgraded extruder. I got the Micro Swiss Bowden extruder, dual drive, and that was kind of like a superficial upgrade. I didn't really realize it at the time, but this Ender 6, it doesn't come with a single drive extruder. It comes with a dual drive extruder. So I kind of like switched the same thing for itself. But direct drive is the trade-off is that you can't, because it's like a lot more weight, because you need not only the all of this stuff, meaning the hot end, the nozzle, the shroud, the fans, but you also need the actual motor and the actual extruder metal, the pieces, the actual gears and just the machinery there. And so it just adds like basically almost doubles the weight depending on the direct drive. And then because it's heavier, you can't push it as fast. But it's like, 6 and 1/2 dozen the other, because like now I can't push this machine that fast anyway. Apparently the X1C can go, I don't know what its default speed is. I think it's like it's definitely over 100 millimeters a second. And like I usually run this, like if I want to get like a nice finished PLA, I won't run it any faster than like 60, so it's like, anyway, let's continue here. It's the same. really should change the belts on this soon too. I was actually originally planning on doing the belts in one fell swoop here along with the wheels. Oopsie. But I bought the wrong belt, so can't do that. This is another print that I'm having a lot of trouble with right now. I designed another ornament, but I think that it's how I'm doing the seam. I think that because I'm trying to put the seam in the center, which makes the most sense for an aesthetic, from an aesthetic quality, it's warping a little bit when it's trying to do this overhang here, and then it's knocking it off the bed. I've screwed up like 3 or 4 of them. I'm not happy about it. Where do we put the washer here? Do we have one with us? Uh-oh. Almost lost that. Huh. Okay. So this one doesn't have a washer. These ones on the actual head don't have a washer. What am I doing here? I'm all screwed up. No washer. Man, these clear wheels are something else. I feel fancy now. Oh, confused. There we go. Yeah, so it seems like my original plan here is going to work out. Just want to do one at a time. And these ones on the extruder head confirmed do not have washers on them. They look almost exactly the same. The shim bit, but I'll show you. I'll show you actually on the next one, so you can actually see it. It looks slightly different. It doesn't have the exact same characteristics, but it's almost the same. Honestly, right now I'm gonna turn this off so I don't have a grill on this, so just so I don't stuff anything in here and break this fan. These are the little Noctua fans you want to get. They're nice. I think that they also have, these are the 20 millimeter deep, but I think they have a 10 as well, which honestly, you know, depending on what you're dealing with, that might be better. I originally actually designed this. This is, well, shame. But I was originally going to use a single 15 fan, and which honestly probably would have been plenty of part cooling. I can show you some pictures of that at some point. Oh, all right. Yeah, this is going to be a problem. Forgot about this. Actually, I might be able to get away with it. Okay, so I kind of jerry-rigged this. Yeah, definitely jerry-rigged this. And what it is this this standard uh, V6 hot end mount is not designed for this Ender 6, whatever the hell you want to call it, thing. And so basically, I shimmed it with whatever I had, which happened to be 2/4 were the right width, and this is kind of actually riding on those bolts, so I can't actually access the head of the bolt there. So I'm going to see if the tension is just enough, and I'm just going to put the socket on the back of it and try to pull it off. And if not, it's not the end of the world. I can pretty easily take this off. This needs a redesign. I don't really like how they force you to put a shroud on this thing, because it has 4 mounting holes on it for a shroud, but there's 2 on the top and then 2 on the sides, and all my wires are running here. I don't know, I'm probably doing something wrong, but either way, the way that I designed this is for only 2 bolts to hold this on either side. And what tends to happen is it gets loose and then it slides down, and I'm sure it's very resonant and everything else, so it's probably not the best, but I'm working on it. Anyway, all right, let's try that. Let's see if I can actually get at these nuts in the back here. This is not going to apply to any of you really, but I don't think this is going to work. Yeah, because the bolt is perpendicular, I can't finagle it out. Okay, well, this is going to be a little bit more work than I thought, as it usually is. Okay, where's my thingy? Here it is. Okay, this thing is awesome. So this is the Hoto, I think is the name of the brand. Yeah, Hoto. This Hoto multi screwdriver is awesome. It's magnetic. Yeah, I should show you the whole thing. It has this here. The only sucky thing about this is I'm gonna have to recalibrate this. Oh well, it is what it is. This hot end's on a little bit of borrowed time. I had this other one all ready to go here, I mean, I was actually going to swap it, and then I just figured, well, this one hasn't absolutely failed yet, so why would I do that? So how this works, I don't even know if this is relevant anymore. I mean, I think that these hot ends are going the way of the dinosaur, kind of. Is that how we're supposed to do it here? No, that's not how it winds up being. Here, one sec. So that's actually kind of the weird thing about these, and they have there's kind of like a, what's it called? What would you say? A flow chart to how to actually put it together. Like, you have to do it one way or it won't work. So you want to put the nozzle in first. Put the nozzle in the volcano. I think it's the same for the regular one too with the V6. And then once that's in, then you want to do this. you know, this one threads into here. And if you don't do it in the right order, then this will just continue to spin and this will touch this. And then that's not good because you're basically dumping all the heat that this is going to put into here into the actual heat sink, which isn't what you want. You want it to be just melting the filament. So, oh yeah, another thing, something else that will go horribly wrong if you upgrade to this and don't read the manual like I did, is you need to put a little bit of thermal paste inside of this, or else you will have problems. So you would never think it, but am I gonna be able to get this out now? I don't know. I don't think I can. So where it's threaded inside of the heatsink, I already had it pre-done, and it's too tight now to pull it out, and I don't want to hurt my fingers too much with this thread. You need to actually squirt some thermal paste, and I mean I have like the cheapest stuff ever. As long as it has something like some type of thermal paste, and because what'll happen is that it'll what'll actually happen is it won't be able to transfer the heat out of the throat fast enough to the heat sink itself, and then the filament will start to melt all the way up the throat, and then what happens is you get a cold well, is it a cold you need to do a cold pull to fix it. I'm not really sure what it's called. I mean, like it's a nasty clog is what it is. And like what'll happen, it'll keep clogging, and you won't understand what's going wrong, and that's what's happening. So, okay, so why this sucks a little bit is that I gotta take this off now. Gotta take the whole hot end off here. Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. It's been a while since I looked at this. It's not going to be fun to deal with, but all right, without making too much of a mess, I'm just going to kind of like half tighten it there in position with the quarters behind it. I'm also trying not to curse, because apparently that's going to be a problem in YouTube future here. Easier said than done. Man, you really you came up with the doozy here, didn't you, Dusty? Okay. All right. Okay. Well, they just really make it up, don't they? They so that has a washer on the bolt head side of this one, on the bottom of the extruder head. Why? I have no idea. Makes no sense. Unless the thickness of the metal plate is different. I don't know. Whatever. That's how it is. And it also has the original type of thing. So that's probably what it is. This is a different length, so that's why it needs the spacer washer. It's not right. It's seated. Oops. Feels a little trickier than I thought. All right. There it goes. Okay. So what was happening? There's like a collar that the spacer seats into with, and if you're not careful and you don't like basically seesaw it into place correctly, and by actually pulling on this a little bit, then it can actually like stick out, and that's not right, and it'll be not right. Already getting hot here. I'm just going to slip the wheel right on in the back here, rather than pulling everything apart on this one, if I can. Oh yeah, something else that makes this printer a lot more capable, as stupid as it is and as jank as it is a tent like this. I was able to print pretty good ABS with it. I actually have a pretty nice ABS print hanging over here as an example. I might show you at some point, but you need some kind of shield because any type of draft will make ABS just peel like a banana. It sucks. Plus, you also need to ventilate. So it's a lot easier to ventilate it if you only have like a single escape point and you like actually shroud it. And so that's the thing. I mean, the thing about this printer that's kind of silly, like it should come with something like that because it just like there's not much point of having side enclosures if you don't have the top enclosed. And this is a Core XY machine, so the bed moves down in the Z direction and then the head moves in the XY direction. And so it's just like these walls are doing basically nothing for 90% of your prints because your prints are all up here, you know. So like I've done some really long prints, you know. The bed dimension, well, the printer dimensions are up to 400 millimeters in the Z direction. So I printed an actual battery box in here, and it's an awesome printer because it's very versatile, but it really should come with some type of a tent. They probably sell one aftermarket. I haven't even looked, like, you know, that you have to buy separate from it if you want to do ABS. Okay, so I got those wheels on. They're tight. Okay, yeah, well that one is. Crap. Okay, that one's really tight. All right. So that seems wrong immediately, but. How should I do this? I think that that's I know that that's okay. So think I can finish the. That one's really loose. Yeah, I ran into this problem before actually on the other wheel, and I didn't know if it was just that it wore out or what the deal was. But this wheel on the back left here has always been like basically free spinning compared to the other ones. I'm not sure about that. I'll have to think about that a little bit. Break it. Here, Discord. Someone might be messaging me. Nice. As far as this goes, this is pretty sketch. Once I got this tight, I did not want to think about this again. Well, I'm gonna have to. I'm really sure what I think that I just eyeballed this. Solution. I think that I bottomed this out. That was basically my plan as far as making it, as if it's bottomed out, then the rest is. I'm definitely gonna have to redo the bed. The bed is gonna be totally messed up. Something else that I do on this machine that I've learned to do with 3D printing in general is, and I'm sure it would be really nice to have an auto leveling machine, but I actually just when it's doing its skirt, I'll get it close ahead of time. But then when it's doing the skirt, I'll actually just do it by eye. So I'm kind of just going to use my sanity here to check this. I'm going to try to push it back, hold it in its house. You just see it does look pretty straight. So I'm just going to leave it how it is and see how it goes. I think even E3D has something out other than the V6 now. That's newer and better. What I hate about this one is that when with heating and cooling, it tends to like spin itself loose, and then when it spins itself loose, all those junctions can filament can squirt out of there, and it's just like then you're trying to like you can't tighten it when it's cold, so then you have to wait till it's hot, and then you're trying to twist sometimes with your fingers, at least if you're me, the hot end of the silicone sock, and it's just not really the best thing. I think that we could do a little better. This is gonna work at least. This has enough travel in it, so that's good. I designed this shroud with travel in it, but like that's the thing. Like you kind of negate any type of travel ability, with a slot on each side with your shroud, because if you want to actually use the ones on top here, at least from what I can figure out, I mean, you could use like a standoff nut maybe, but then that's kind of jank, and then that'll just loosen up and not work right over time. So I'll finish tightening this up after I do these last 4 wheels here. So we've got, how many have we changed now? We have changed 8 so far, and we have 4 to go. So now I think I want to do my plan, because I don't want to take these walls off, and I think that having 1 extra hole here is not going to be a big deal. So what are we going to do here? Oh yeah, this is great too. What is going on with this? Forgot about this problem with this thing. I think that I was missing some bolts. Is what happened. So the back is a little bit open on this. Whoopsie. Alright, so here's what my plan is. Can you see this pretty well? No, not really. At 0 right now, so that's good. That's fine. Oh, gotta go grab my screwdriver, my drill anyway. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay. So where do I want this? I think I'm not gonna overthink it. As long as I have one hole, then I can slide the bolt through it. Each one should be fine. Yeah, I was worried about that. Yeah, this stuff tends to crack. It's okay. Alright. Kind of expected that. It's gonna fit. Should. I already cracked it here, It's cracked. Is it cracked there? No, it's cracked here. Cracked there. Oh, beautiful. I also can't get the socket on this guy here. Okay. Well, I think I gotta do this. Is this the right one? No. No. What should I use here? What should I do? Let's just use these for now. A little tricky, but I think this is going to work. Just barely. Okay. Does work though. Okay. And then looks like return to form of switching it up a bit, and they're using the other thing again. Okay. Well, it is what it is, I guess. Not much of a rhyme or reason to that. And so there's no nut on those ones. Okay. Whatever. Well, it do work. Nice. Okay. That is kind of convenient. And then I can tighten them too. Although you can usually, unless they get really loose, you can tighten them like when they're just like semi-tight. If they're loose enough that they need to be tightened, but they're not so loose that you can't grip them. The nut usually, because it's a lock nut, it like has enough friction in it that you can tighten it usually. But it's also hard to get at this side because you can't get the socket on it, which is it's just like, come on. This one you can get the socket on. Nice. Okay, that's good at least. That's okay. Almost done here. And as far as like this being significant right now with an air gap, well, I already got this giant gap back here. I don't know why this doesn't fit right. I couldn't figure that out. I think it's literally just not really shaped right. That's what I figured out. Yeah. Okay. I don't know why. pulled that off the first time. It was easy. I made it look easy the first time. Do this. Well, easier if you can see what you're doing. There you go. Okay. Nice. Is this working? What's happening here? Yeah. Just took a second. Alright. That's really loose. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna have to do my theory about it. I'll try to use a few pilot holes next time. Okay. Switch. I don't know how much this is going to help. Or at least make it easier to put the hole in the right spot. So what I'm doing is I'm putting the bolt pretty much where I think it's about in the middle, or at least tolerably so. And then I'm going to mark the spot where the middle of the bolt is with a pilot hole. Pilot gouge. Make sure it's right. Yep, looks great. Okay, so I'll finish this off then. Really grabs it. Alright. Let's just go slow. We'll just go one more at least in between here. This is actually working pretty well. Should have done that to begin with. Oh well, sorry. I have a feeling this is still good. Always does. Oh. Oh. Beautiful. Great. Well, it happens. More character now. Oh, that's a shame. That's weird. Those pilot holes were working well. Seems like it's just too much of a jump. Too much of a jump and it'll crack it. That sucks. I wonder if there's a way to avoid that. Oh well. Maybe I'll probably glue that later. about that. That sucks. Drilled a few holes over here for this thing. This oh yeah, something else I haven't mentioned. This has clipper on it, so that's nice. So I can, you know, remotely, well, semi-remotely, at least in the house. This is down here in the basement in the corner. So I can see in the house, you know, like what my progress is on any computer. You know, you send everything to it. It has its own memory. I think I have a 64 gig, yeah, 64 gig SSD in here. Just a little micro SD, but yeah, don't put that in your mouth. Just said that. Don't eat it. This is the one that you can't get the socket on. Now that this is cracked enough, you can just slide the bolt right out. Boo! That sucks. It's a feature now. Ugh. Okay. Probably the right way to do this. I don't really know. Okay. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do what I kind of said before. That's loose. So I'm going to loosen up each of these 8 wheels on either side, like I said, so that I can basically hopefully pull it into the correct spot. And I think that what's happening is that you need to basically make it so that the wheels are not too tight on this side and not on this side, because then it's going to be favoring this side of the groove rather than this, and then just all this side. These are pretty loose now. Okay. See, now this little port comes in pretty handy. Can kind of get the socket on there on that one. Okay. So now this is pretty, like, I can like jostle this. If I jostle this, I can hear the wheels have some play in them. So now that they're all like that, what I'm going to do is these two. Well, maybe I'll actually do this one and then this lower one over here. Turn this on too. Gotta plug it in. Tighten this. Can't move it till it won't let me move the head until it boots up. So I haven't been able to update Klipper on this Pi yet. I mean, because the Ender 6 firmware board is a little goofy. I haven't checked recently. I don't know if they have upgraded it or what's the deal, but anyway. Okay. So I don't know. I mean, this still seems very loose, but I think that's actually how it's supposed to be. So now, by my reasoning, we're going to move this over here, then do this one, which is opposite that one. Still pretty loose. Okay. Now, I'm going to do, I don't know, let's move to this one. A lot of play in that direction. It's okay though. Let's just see how it goes. I'm gonna tighten them all, and just gonna tighten them all in a star pattern. See what happens. Even when I'm tightening them, they're still coming out loose. So that was there. Here. See, that seems awfully loose. You see, these two are tight here, and then like look. See how much play? Can you? I probably can't see that on the camera. I haven't really fiddled with this much. Like I said, it came out of the box. This might be a normal amount of play. That's the thing. I don't know. What did I just do? pretty good, honestly. So, what people will say will happen is you'll get flat spots, and I don't know. I mean, I guess it makes sense that the wheel will eventually like egg out a bit. Like if, especially if you're not, if you're like running a rut in it, or it's just like it's always doing only a small travel. So I mean, what I've always done in the past, like you got the machine running, it's loose. Basically just run it back and forth with your hand and see how free it is, and like feels pretty nice to me right now. It doesn't like what'll happen when you get the flat spots is it'll basically just hit like a more resistive point where and then the way that that'll manifest itself in a print, it seems like is all kinds of different ways, but it, like basically just on corners and stuff, it'll not be quite right. I don't know if I can show you on this one. These ones came out really nice for the most part. There was like one that I think it started to develop a flat spot because I did like 5 of these in a row, and then on like some of the overhangs in the corners, it'll mess it up. So the thing about a Core XY machine is that both motors run when you're moving in only an like a straight XY, and actually when you're moving in a diagonal is when only one of the motors is running. Kind of counterintuitively, it's like serpentine together. Each motor like in a different path on top of one another, but it's a different type of programming, and you have to actually do a significantly different amount of like different setup in order to make it work right. The advantages to it are that it's a little bit better with real estate because the bed on like the older style, on the more traditional style machines, moves back and forth in either X or Y, whatever you want to call it, and then the nozzle only moves back and forth and then up and down. So the thing about it is that like the bed slingers, they take up more real estate, and kind of unnecessarily so, simply because the whole entire large bed has to move back and forth. So I don't know. I mean, people say that you can get higher speeds and better results in general out of a Core XY machine because in most movements, both motors are working together. I don't know how true that is. I mean, it's I don't know. I enjoy it. It seems like it's a smart technology, a good way to build a 3D printer to me. So that's why I bought it. I think that the Ender 5 Pro isn't a Core XY. But it kind of works similarly, at least like practically speaking, not actually programming and like hardware speaking. And that the way that works is it has a rail that sits up separate from this, whereas with a Core XY the nozzle rail actually sits inside of the 4 corners here, and that has like 2 separate belts. This does have 2 separate belts, but the belts are like intertwined. Whereas with that, it's just one motor runs this back and forth, and then another motor runs it this way. Basically, is by my understanding. Yeah. So okay, I mean, it feels pretty nice. I think that we're pretty much ready to do a test print. I'm pretty sure I tightened these wheels. This wheel is really tight. This one seems like too tight. Even with it super loose, it's still really tight on the rail. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I mean, the head itself, is loose, and well, actually, that loosened it up a little bit. That made it a little bit smoother. Yeah. Okay, I think we're at least ready to try something here. All right, this is not a great angle, is it? able to see the screen. There's no way that's gonna work. Okay, whatever. Maybe show you something large. Let's see here. So this is something else I might want to show you, if anyone's still actually in the stream at the time. First of all, though, let's just send a print to this. So I'm going to preheat the nozzle, and I have to do that once if I send something to it, then I have to do it directly on the machine, because it's like it's just series programming. So it'll wait until it does its first command, and then it'll wait to actually send the heat command to the nozzle. Actually, it looks pretty good. I got pretty close. I think I understand this a little bit better now. That's awfully close. That's a little too close. Okay. Now what I'm making sure of is that the shroud is actually ducted to as low as possible, basically, but not so low that it's going to collide with whatever I'm printing. Actually, it looks pretty good. So I think that the nozzle is pretty much in the exact same spot, or at least close enough that I should have enough travel with the springs here. So we'll let that get started. And I did actually. I'm gonna move this out of the way. You can't see it anyway. I'm selling these on my Etsy, actually. Came out pretty nice. So if you want to check that out, my Etsy's the same, Dusty's Lab. This was the next thing I wanted to possibly do. I mean, realistically, no one's watching right now, and no one probably is going to watch this in the future. But this is my contraption here, my custom PC case that I 3D printed all of. Need some chocolate. I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. If anyone was in here, I was going to ask them like what I should do with this thing. What I'm thinking I might try to do is downsize it significantly and try to like maybe recess this in like in between the aluminum extrusions here, and then maybe what would be cool is rather than even putting regular PC fans on this rad, is if I ducted a blower fan just to be different, just to try something, see how it worked, see what kind of thermals and what would you call it, sound qualities, like how loud it is. You know, this thing is so overpowered, it's like so overbuilt, it has so much thermal mass, and this radiator is so enormous, it's super silent. It can do anything without pretty much making any noise. You know, and that's kind of like, when you're going this big, that's kind of like what you want. That's the point. The problem with it is that when it's this big and heavy, it's less portable, which I also wanted it to be. I like this form factor and how portable it is, and I think that the motherboard flat with the graphics card on the side, although a sandwich style would be nice too, is just a good setup, and I think it's less stressful on the graphics card too, as far as like sagging and whatnot. So if I do that, I would have to replace this power supply. This is a standard ATX size power supply. Alright, so I'm going to have to do this by eye now. Alright, that should be fine. Should have got my calipers. Whatever, just use my junky ones. I don't know if I really have room to both have this on here and design. Alright guys, well, this was fun. This was about 2 hours. I think I want to do this every week or so, I don't know, maybe eventually some people will start asking some questions and I can help them. Making some noises on me. It's got a giant crack in it now. That's really upsetting. But anyway, really appreciate it. If anyone watched, it looks like the average view was like 20 minutes. And tune in next week and maybe think of some questions you can ask me as far as maybe I would know the answer to. All right, thanks. Bye.